Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and X. And for the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. And that's just a sampling. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. For laptops, mobile phones, and tablets, download the Roku app. National Streaming Sports, live and on demand, sports talk for America.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now, with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events with confidence.
Chicka, 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 chicka.
There it is.
And it's Wednesday night, and you're with the Professional Sports Show. A group of hosts from National Streaming Sports that get together once a week to analyze some sports and have some fun. I'm your host, Mac, from the Mac and Jack Sports Show and a couple other shows. We have Bo Crouch, who has a few shows on the National Streaming Sports Network. We also have the new guy in town, Mike Tipton. We call him Tip. Great morning show at 10 a.m. on the National Streaming Sports Eastern Time. Keith Angle, TGI Sports Talk again with a bunch of shows on the network. Sonia Pearson from Prim and Proper Sports. She's on 4 out of 7 nights, something like that. Anyway, she's on quite a bit. You can catch her tonight. And, of course, J-Train, who is my partner in crime, and he's on a lot of shows with me also. So good evening, everybody. How you doing tonight? And are you ready to talk about some sports? Because I sure am.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it, guys.
Outstanding. So, all right. So,
Just real quick, sorry.
I want to get to the games. The games from last week. We'll touch a little bit. Well, Sonia likes being in trouble anyway, so don't worry about it. She
What did I do? I haven't even done anything yet.
Well, we're getting ready, Sonia. We're getting ready for you to do something. Always. So anyway, so the Packers they kind of got beat up by the Philadelphia Eagles. It wasn't really a butt whipping. I mean, they scored a lot of field goals on them. Dobbs got a concussion even with that little foam helmet that they wear, so that really doesn't work. We found out. And a question for you all: is Jordan Love an elite quarterback? Is he worth that 65 million a year that they're paying him right now? What do you think, Paul?
I mean, well, they're not giving him that much. He's a 55 mil guy, but I mean, there's 4 elite guys in the league. There are 5 other ones that are making 55. So that's the market. Whether you think he's worth that or not doesn't matter. That's just what the market pays. I mean, Daniel Jones got 40. He's not even on the roster, right? I mean, you're going to have Sam Darnold somehow going to get 40 probably. he's a bridge guy. I mean, the market just is 50 plus now. You got Dak making 60. I don't think any of these guys are worth that, but it's what the market is.
This is a result of all the competitive,
Well, I mean,
you get a deal last season. That's what's going on, Mac. Like if this person's getting 50, then let me get 55. And these people were not even, look at Trevor Lawrence. I mean, look at all these guys that got these big signings and they don't even have a ring. And so it was literally just became a competition of quarterbacks that they basically were threatening the ownership, like, hey, this person over here got this, and if I don't get that and more, I'm walking. So that's what it basically came down to. But they're not worth it.
I mean, and I think we have to define like what is an elite quarterback, right? Like Jordan Love, I don't think anyone here would say he's elite, but you can win with Jordan Love, and I think you can have sustained winning with Jordan Love, and really that's all you want, right? Like you just want the ability to be in a game, possibly win a couple of games, make it to the dance, and hopefully do some damage in the playoffs. I think very few people actually believed that the Packers were going to beat the Eagles because that would have been a bad bet, right? You were just kind of like, if there's a bet I'm going to take, it's like the 12-5 in the NCAA tournament, right? Like that's kind of what it was. That was the one upset that we really kind of said, maybe it happens here. But I don't think it's an indictment on Jordan Love. Like, it's just what the market is. All the quarterbacks are going to get all the money. Like Bo said, none of them are worth $60 million, but that's just the way it's going to go.
You know, the part of the problem is the words we use to describe athletes in general, right? Worth, elite. It's all subjective. It's in the eye of the beholder. I will always subscribe to the fact that when it comes to whether you're worth something, you're worth whatever somebody's willing to pay you.
Exactly.
Whether you earn it or not is a different story. So that's how I always fall down on this. I don't begrudge anybody anything they can get. But then you have to earn it. And if you don't, I'll call you out on that. Not whether you're worth it, it's whether you earn it. So
that's why I say it was just what the market is, right?
No, I agree. Yeah, you're right on the same path there, Bo, for sure.
And also, Mac, I like to say that Jordan Love, I would say that he's not considered elite. He's a very good quarterback, but I wouldn't also blame the loss on him. You have to look at what the talent level is on that team altogether. I mean, wide receivers, there's no name that you can say that's an elite wide receiver on that team. Running back, yes, you got Josh Jacobs. I think he gives them a great chance to continue, their offense and ground and pound. But there's just not enough talent, I think, on that team. He's not in the level of Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, or formerly a Drew Brees or Tom Brady, they didn't need the elite names. They can make guys around them better. But for someone like Jordan Love, he's someone, obviously, you saw early on the interceptions might have been a problem. He seemed to get that, curb that. And I love the coach. I think the coach-quarterback relationship is going to be a good thing. They just need to build around him. They need to build around him in order for them to be a little bit more successful. Because you look, they are not on the level of their opponents in that division with Detroit. If you look at Detroit has skilled players at every position on that offense. And so they're set to be able to get to a Super Bowl or try to get to a Super Bowl. It's just that I think they just maxed out their limits in Green Bay.
I think maybe the four elite quarterbacks in the NFL right now would be Patrick Mahomes. He can do something with nothing. You'd have to say Lamar Jackson, another guy that can make plays. Josh Allen, who can do it with his legs, can do it with his arm. And then probably Joe Burrows. I would think those are probably the four elite quarterbacks in the NFL today.
Well, we're not giving any love to Dak
unless
Prescott.
Anybody else has another one.
Not no Dakota Rain, honey. He done me up out of there.
I didn't realize there was that kind of show. I'm just gonna clock out. It's fine.
I'd say Dak is in the second tier. He's in the top of the second tier.
To piggyback off what James said a minute ago, Bum Phillips used to say something about coaches that I think applies to quarterbacks, by the way. a great coach, and in this sense, an elite quarterback can take his and beat yours, and take yours and beat his. And I think that's what it's an elite quarterback. And Patrick Mahomes is one guy I can say is that. I'm not so sure about everybody else yet.
I mean, Josh Allen is 90% of their scoring offense. I feel like that kind of gets you there, because that team doesn't do anything if it's not him.
That's true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. And Stafford, I think, starts that second tier more than Dak Prescott does, right? I think Stafford will probably, if even by the smallest amount, will get in the Hall of Fame. Experienced quarterback, and do damage in the playoffs. Has won a Super Bowl. Has played for years, and he played his tail off against a very good Minnesota Viking team last week. So let's get to that. The Rams. I don't know if you say upset the Vikings or not. It was a small spread, but a lot of people felt that the Rams would not play well because maybe of the fires and maybe their mind wouldn't be on it. But that's not what happened at all. As a matter of fact, it looked like Stafford knew the defensive playbook in the beginning anyway, until they kind of changed up on him. And, I mean, you could try to blitz this guy. You can try and do all kinds of things with this guy, but he's just experienced enough to challenge some of the best defensive coordinators in the league, guys.
Look, that's a well-coached football team for sure. I mean, offensively, they didn't make mistakes. They weren't overwhelming. They allowed the Vikings to make the mistakes for them and put themselves in great field position most of the night. On the other side of the football, not to what you were talking about, Mac, but I mean, I think Aaron Glenn and the Lions showed you what the playbook is, how to beat the Vikings and how to beat Sam Darnold, and the Rams just copied it, and it played well. And if Sam Darnold's starting somewhere in the NFL next year, you're going to see a lot of that thrown against him. So the Rams are an efficient football team. I don't think they're going to come out of the NFC by any means, but, it wouldn't shock me, I guess, if somehow they found their way through. It would be a huge upset. But it's an efficient, well-coached football team.
I mean,
I just think either the offense literally was not there. I mean, Sam Darnold, Bo and I were on TikTok yesterday, and we talked about that. We had over 20,000 views. We kept shouting out Northeast Professional Sports, Mac, and we shouted out all of you guys. And we just thought, and Mike Ethel was on there. Mm-hmm. And we just thought that the offense never got off the plane for the Vikings. And, I don't want to say same old Sam Darnold, same word basically, but he looked very Carolina-ish, very Jet-ish. But at the end of the day, it wasn't really him. It was the fact that the team surrounding him, a quarterback is only as good as the pieces around him. The offense looked really bad, and the Rams looked absolutely amazing. Their defense just obliterated Sam. And I feel like part of the game, he probably was having an out-of-body experience. He probably was hovering above himself, seeing himself get sacked repeatedly, because it was just like a car wreck happening on Groundhog's Day. You know that movie Groundhog's Day? It was just like that, watching that game.
Yeah, that offensive line is what specifically didn't show up. I mean, they were turnstiles up front.
Absolutely.
Darnold ended up getting happy feet and creating bad situations. But, I mean, early on, he was just getting ran over. He had less than 2 seconds to get rid of the ball. Some of those guys were free releases. I mean, it was almost like he didn't give them a good Christmas gift. And they're like, you know what? It looks like you got sacked. Like,
yep. You got sacked instead of mossed.
He got sacked. I've never seen a guy get so rattled, Bo. I mean, he was missing guys dinking dunks out of the backfield. He was missing them by a mile.
Out in the flat. In the flat, he missed a running back very bad.
I was
more than once.
I was fully expecting to see Daniel Jones get a shot in the fourth quarter, right? You're down 3 scores. You're not in any hurry, right? You signed him on this, half-year deal from New York. Why wouldn't you give him some playing time? He has playoff experience, right? I mean, you might as well see if he can mount something, because there was no spark. That Minnesota team was done as soon as that was called an incomplete pass and not a fumble.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Once that went down, it's like their whole energy, you could see it. The whole energy was literally, you literally saw it leave the game. Like I felt it.
Well, and looking at like the season, right? The Vikings have 4 losses on the season. It just so happens that 2 are to the Lions and 2 are to the Rams, back-to-back weeks. Like that it's weird, auspicious how that kind of played out. But going back to what Keith said, the Lions kind of laid down the foundation. This is how you beat this team. And the Rams said, okay, if all we have to do is stack up and make sure that Aaron Jones doesn't run by us and we can just go after the quarterback, ears pinned back as much as possible, that offensive line was overwhelmed in back-to-back games. So, I mean, we can put some of the blame on Sam Darnold. Like, yeah, maybe you could have made some better decisions here or there. But the whole blame has to go on, you lost 4 games this season to 2 teams, and you made 0 adjustments whenever you faced them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good point. The same.
I agree, Tip.
That's a good point, Tip.
It was funny, though. Most teams that lost to the Lions then lost the next week.
Dang.
Almost all of them had a hangover after playing the Lions.
Because the Lions put so much of a beating on them. Their defense put so much of a beating on people that they literally are limping into the next game. And just imagine when we go to having these extra weeks. Hags and I will be on later on. We've already pre-recorded our show, but we were talking about that. When the league goes into these 19 and 20 week games, you're going to see this quite a bit because you're going to see these teams that are like, okay, first, second, third down, and then on to.
No, you're good, Sonia. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. I'm reacting to the comment, not to you. I'm sorry.
I can always count on my buddy Rob to come in with the tinfoil hat.
I figured that. I saw the reactions and I knew it wasn't me.
Yes. Everything's scripted about it.
Yeah. Oh God,
we're sad about this though. This is a 14-win team.
So you're saying
that's a wild card team.
They look like a 9-win wild card team.
You're saying that okay, Darnold couldn't get rid of the ball. Listen, they were blitzing Stafford too. I mean, you practice this. You know they're coming after you. You know the blitzes. There's tape. There's tape, dude. And they were blitzing Stafford in the beginning all the time. He made the hot reads and completed the ball.
Well, he's been known to hold the ball.
Sam didn't make hot reads, right? He didn't make the hot reads.
But you also have to remember, early on in the game, they have a 4th down situation. Justin Jefferson's going into it. He slips out of his break. That's whenever Sam Darnold fumbles the ball and they get it done. There was so much pressure that even by the time a receiver goes a 2-yard route for a break, there was pressure on him.
I mean, I don't think anybody's making the argument Sam is as good as Stafford.
Sam went up there and shat the bed, okay? Let's be clear. Him, and there was no grittying done by Justin Jefferson. It was
hurting everywhere.
He was grit old, but he wasn't doing no gritty.
That brink truck just passed by Sam Darnold's house and just waved and said goodbye.
No question.
I think that was the worst part about it. You're watching a guy lose money. It's like whenever you have a friend at the casino and they just keep going and going and going, and you're like, guy, like let's go to the bar, let's do something else. Like you don't want to hang out here. That's
what a ginger.
I would bet that those 2 losses at the end of the year went from him making somewhere in the upper 40s as somebody's try at a franchise guy to being in the low 30s as a bridge guy. 2 losses.
Because now he's going to get franchised. And the fact is, I think it was $40 million.
He won't.
Nah, some bad team's going to pick him up because throughout the regular season, he has sustainable or sufficient enough evidence that he can play decent enough quarterback, but not enough to be an elite or to lead a team. Pass.
About $40 million somewhere. I thought that was
he's going to get that. So the franchise is 41 mil. He's going to get that Baker Mayfield deal that's like 33 to 35.
Right.
He's going to go to Las Vegas. He's going to be a Raider next year.
That's probably a good call, Tip. I would say that's a great call. There's always one dumb owner, and you can count on Mark Davis to be that guy, I guess.
He'll be a $30 million backup.
As long as it ain't going to Cleveland, honey.
Let me ask you this then, because Darnold to the Raiders makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah.
So you're going to pay more for a bridge guy when you already have 2 bridge guys in the room.
Dumb. Remember the word dumb I put in there.
So, but isn't Brady supposed to be the adult in the room now?
Yeah,
Like,
he ain't
doesn't
doing that.
Brady, like,
Right.
Be like, hey, Davis, no.
Right.
I'm sure there are people out there that tell Mark Davis to get a different haircut, and does he listen to them?
Oh my God, he looks like Dumb and Dumber.
I think still that he may stay at with Minnesota because there's no success that he's had like he's had with Kevin O'Connor.
Sure.
I think Kevin O'Connor's the one that's just exposed and allowed him to be the best version of Sam Darnold that he's been in the league up to this point. So I don't know who's going to be the Kevin O'Connell to help him, to be the same quarterback and have the same stability that he has in Minnesota.
There's
And
one
nobody's giving him
caveat to
3,
that.
4, or 5 years guaranteed either. So he's gonna, he's probably going to be in Minnesota for less than he would have gotten elsewhere.
Right.
I agree with you, except if Josh McCown does actually get the head coaching job.
Yep. That's
he will
gonna
bring
be
his
pivotal.
guy. He will bring his guy, right? Because when he was the backup to him with the Jets, he's like, oh, man, this guy is going to be in a Pro Bowl in 5 years. Incidentally, 5 years later, here we are in a Pro Bowl. And he's his quarterback coach. If he actually gets the head coaching job that he's being interviewed for, I could see him dragging Darnold over with him because he obviously likes the guy. He's gotten.
Where's he going?
I believe he has an interview with the Jets.
Oh my Lord.
Back home?
No.
Back to the Jets?
Don't work out too well.
Let
They
me
trying to
double
get
check.
Ryan up there.
Let me double check because I actually have a slide. So let me.
So while you do that, Bo, I'll just go out to mention as well, like the Minnesota Vikings are going to have the 5th most salary cap space left, right? So
Okay,
$7 million.
It is the Jets.
Why would you do that?
Good grief, my name must be on that list with all those names, isn't it?
Yeah, if you also have their GM list, it's like twice this long. By the time they get through this list, the draft will be over. So the only one that's longer is the Bears. So the Bears was I didn't write them all down because some of them just aren't serious candidates, but I mean these are the ones they're doing. So,
I hope Pete Carroll gets it.
Pete Carroll to the Bears, telling you right now.
I'd love to see him come back.
My favorite list though is this one. This is the most hilarious list ever because there's really only one name on it. There was only ever one name on it.
Sure was.
I see a problem here.
I mean,
Yeah.
it made it so you got your guy right away. Anyway,
I think I said that here last week.
Shout out for the slideshow. Okay, I see you, Bo.
always working.
I
Always
got to
working.
step my game up. I don't
You know,
have any slideshows. I can barely run a video intro.
I mean, one team that really played really well, and Washington, to me, I don't know if they're going to win the next game or not. I'm not going to count them out. I'll tell you that, because I'm going to tell you that quarterback is calm. Nothing. It doesn't look like anything affects them. They make the field goal. Everybody's jumping up and down, hands up. He walks on the field smiling like, yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. So Washington beats Tampa Bay, and it was the best game I think of the weekend there. Love Baker, but the pressure didn't affect Daniels. Run with the ball, throw on the run. This kid's going to be really good, and don't count him out next week. Don't count them out. I'm not counting them out. I'm not saying they're winning, but they're going to give them a heck of a game.
I'll go ahead and count them out. They're playing the Detroit Lions. There's no way.
Yeah.
I picked Washington by the points, though, on the point
I don't
spread.
count 'em out.
Because I don't think it's going to be that easy, guys.
I like this.
But now is the time where the point spread doesn't matter, right?
Yeah,
like
I agree.
for us, it matters. In
Take a
the
look.
reality of things, cool, you covered. Guess what? You're still going home.
Yeah, that's right.
I think the Lions put a hurt on it. I like this team a lot. I liked them last week to win outright, and I don't think they'll be in the ball. They might be in the ball game early, but I think this game will get away from them late next Sunday or Saturday, whatever day they plan. But it takes away nothing from they've had a great season, and this kid's going to be a very, very good quarterback. I just don't think they're going to win this game.
Yeah. Nope.
Jahmyr Gibbs is a much more formidable running back than Bucky Irving. Right, and Bucky Elgin is good, but Jahmyr Gibbs is on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
And Washington's defense is not great at run stopping.
Their offense, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. There's no doubt that the Detroit offense is good. I'm not sure their defense is a little bit better than average to me. I don't know. I wouldn't count them out. I definitely wouldn't count them out.
Well, they could give up 30 and still win
we
this
got
game.
Buffalo at Denver. This rookie quarter. But
they'll give up the
It's true.
points. I
That's
think
very
they'll
true.
win 20.
Yeah. I'll tell you, there's one rookie quarterback that looked like he felt the pressure. Bo Nix had that one big throw, and then maybe not even his fault. I was really disappointed in the way that Sean Payton called that game especially in the middle of the game. I mean, run first down, run second down, throw third down. I mean, you're not going to be the Buffalo Bills doing that. And of course, Buffalo ends up coming and destroying them in the second half. Denver had a good year also. They have a good defense for the most part during the year. They did anyway, but they definitely need to improve in the offseason.
You all are going
to former coach J Train. We know you got something to say about Sean Payton.
Look, he hadn't won a playoff game since 2021, I believe. And so, look, I don't think there's anything wrong with their team right now, except that they need a few more key pieces. I mean, Sean Payton, he might not have called a great game, but Buffalo was clearly evident going into that game. The more polished, the more formidable, more talented team, and they showed it. They won 31-7, and I think you're not going to see the last of Sean Payton. I mean, he's a much older guy. I mean, look, I remember tying up Sean Payton with Drew Brees. That was just like man, a marriage made in heaven, man. It was just a wonderful thing for all the years they did down there in New Orleans. I think I was a little wrong on Bo Nix, and I think he's going to be a really good quarterback, man. And Sean Payton's going to get him in the right direction and get that team in the right direction. I think Sean Payton now has the helms in regards to a little bit more control on who he can get into the to the draft and free agency. So they're going to be a lot better. Just look out for them in Denver.
Yeah, I fully expect them to get a receiver this offseason, right? Get that true number one. That'd change a lot of this offense already.
And that's what we're looking like. The Broncos to me are ahead of schedule, right? Like,
yes,
they had all that dead cap space from just letting go of Russell Wilson, deciding we're going to walk away from this atrocious contract. Now they're going to get a lot of money back that they can spend in free agency. You got to a place.
They still got one more. They got one more year of Russ.
But I mean, they're still going to have $54 million that they can spend.
You mean one more year of bus?
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
or
I mean, they still have
one more year of dust.
Yeah, but they're going to have more money now. They're ahead of schedule. Yes. I think they proved to people that that's a destination you want to go play because they were fun to watch this year. Yep. And that's really what you want to do. And if you're a number one guy, why not go over there? Why not see what the Broncos have? Because that looks like it's going to be that's one of those teams that you could tell is on the way up.
Yep.
I agree. I am not making a comment on that comment at all.
I agree.
So
I agree.
I am not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
It's not like
so let's look at the games.
Would have mattered anyway.
We did have. I don't know. I think you could put Burrows in there with that offense. There could have been some trouble, but again, it didn't happen. So Washington's getting 9.5 points against Detroit. I love that 9.5 points. Even if Washington doesn't win, I know you guys are all picking Detroit, but I love that point spread at 9.5.
We
talked about that. Anybody
Matt,
got the Rams?
I said Washington with the points.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Detroit's going to win it, but with the points,
I haven't looked at it yet. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. We have Philadelphia Philadelphia at the Rams Philadelphia getting 5.5 points. I like the underdog here too. I like the underdog here too. I like the Rams 2 wide receivers. I like their running game and defense.
Yeah. This is a true road game. I think playing and having to travel all the way across the country is always tough on the West Coast teams. Philadelphia's they look like they're on a mission. I think they're going to run the ball a whole lot more effectively than Minnesota is able to run it, and which is going to give Hurts a much better chance than Darnold had. I don't think the Rams are going to be able to do this 2 weeks in a row. I think the Eagles win and cover.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Especially, Higbee went down. It doesn't sound like he's going to be back. And I mean, the thing with the Rams is their starting lineup is great. They have no depth at all, right? So if anybody gets hurt, it's a wrap. The Eagles have depth. That defense was the number 1 defense in the league. I'm gonna go with they can win this game at home for sure.
But since week 15, the Rams have been on the come up with their defense as well. They only were allowing, I think they held teams to like 40 some points or whatever at the time collectively. And as far as Higbee, he was hospitalized because he was also coughing up blood. He left the game in the second quarter with a chest contusion. But they have said as of 3 hours ago on CBS Sports, he did travel back to LA and he's expected to take the field on Sunday.
Oh, okay. Hadn't heard that report yet.
Yeah.
I like it.
I want the absolute chaos, just so that way our guy Robert Wardell in the comments can just keep pumping out the narrative that the NFL was scripted, right? I want that absolute chaos. But I'm also going with what I've seen and what history is. I'm a big history guy, right? And whenever A.J. Brown throws a tantrum on the sideline, they force feed him the ball and the Eagles win games. And that's exactly what's going to happen in this next game against the Rams. It's tough for me because I like the Rams. I hate the Philadelphia Eagles. You can see that disgusting backdrop behind me because I hate that I love that team as well. But I hate the Philadelphia Eagles. But I can recognize greatness in the moment. We're watching a team right now be a great team. And I want the matchup of the NFC Championship game being between the Lions and the Eagles. That's going to be so much fun.
Dude, Rob, pump the brakes, man.
They're gonna really triple coverage Saquon. Honestly, they're gonna be like literally double coverage him the whole game. That's gonna be the key to winning this game is isolating Saquon. If you let him get loose, it's a wrap.
Rob must know where Area 51 is too. Yeah. He's got conspiracy theory things going on.
I agree.
Rob might be my favorite comment.
Mr. Wardell.
Yeah, no, I've known Rob for 20 years.
Look, I'll say this about the Rams. I think the Rams, they surprised me with this game and how they handled Minnesota. So with saying that, I wouldn't be surprised if they upset Philadelphia, but I think Philadelphia is going to win, and I think the Rams are going to cover, even the 5.5. I think they're going to cover.
So some context on
5.5. The line moved to 5.5.
I got 6 right now. I don't know what Mac had in our.
5.5. Bet the underdog.
It was 5.5 when I looked.
Right.
5.5.
Exactly.
I've already put my bet in though.
Yeah, no. So there's a funny thing about 5.5. 5.5 underdogs win
That's a tricky
lot.
one. Yep, that could go either way. That's like 3. That's just
I picked the Rams on that one. I just think the Rams is just too close. That's like you said, 5.5. That's
a kiss death number.
2 touchdowns. Yeah. This game is going to be 2 touchdowns by the end of it.
You think so, Keith?
I think they pull away late too. Yes.
Yeah, like I feel like the spread going down is because people have the mindset of, oh, okay, well the Rams can cover that 6.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get ugly quick, and if the Eagles get a lead, all they have to do is lean on Saquon.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, if the Rams win this game, Detroit's going to win the whole Super Bowl. Detroit's going to be the NFC champions, and they're going to go to the Super Bowl and win it. This game is pivotal that we're talking about with the Rams and the Eagles because the entire season, Mac, you probably remember me saying it to you guys, it's the NFC North versus the Eagles. That's how I felt the whole season. And now the NFC North only has 1 team left.
Well, last year in the
Oh, good.
Last year in a playoff game, I mean, what was it, 1917 that I think that was the score that Detroit won. So, I mean, it was a hell of a playoff game last year. The Rams almost beat them last year. I think the Rams have a really underrated defense, a good team, and I think they got a shot now. Maybe they don't, but I think they got a shot.
The key here, Matt, is probably going to be the coaching
Houston guy. Oh, Houston at KC, I should say. Go ahead.
The key here is probably going to be coaching. McVay is a much better coach than
Sirianni.
Okay.
Sirianni. Yeah, sorry.
I'll give you.
And I just think that also I agree with you about the defense being underrated. That defensive line, man, is disruptive. And the key is they got to run the ball. They got to be much better than. I know they're a much better team than Minnesota at running the ball with, and that in Philadelphia. But I don't know, man. I don't see much difference between Sam Darnold and Jalen Hurts. I mean, in regard, they're different style quarterbacks, but as far as being effective to be enough to be that secondary in the Rams actually was pretty underrated too. They shut down some top notch receivers. They shut them down.
I think the biggest difference between the two is Hurts isn't worried about getting hit, right? Like Hurts will stand in there and get hit. Darnold does not. Like as soon as they start flying through, he's happy feet out the back.
Straight up ginger. Straight up ginger.
What I got a question about Augusta here. First, he's picking the Rams, then he's picking the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. How can you have both? Lions. I'm sorry, I misread what he said. Okay. He's talking about the Rams being the most rested team. He's haven't played in almost 3 weeks. And
what
the
are you talking about?
The Rams are going to.
I believe happy hour has started early.
Right. How many drinks have you had, sir?
Hey, every hour is happy hour.
I got points on the Rams, and I still will take the Eagles.
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
I have copious amounts of bottles of alcohol behind me, so I agree. Every hour
Tip, they don't call him Tip for nothing.
Why you Jones and all that alcohol over there, Tip?
You probably have every Black Friday TV too.
Okay, so we got Houston at Kansas City, guys. All I've been hearing is Kansas City barely wins, and I heard the same nonsense last year, and Houston. Listen, there is no way that Kansas City loses to Houston this week. In fact, Kansas City covers, probably beats them by a couple touchdowns.
100%. Kansas City.
Their defense, their young defense, looked good last week. They're going to.
Are they?
That's a good point.
Matt got to get a Wi-Fi connection.
That's that Temu router.
Yes.
He got it on the TikTok shop.
I need something. There is no way Houston beats Kansas. There is no way Houston beats Kansas City this week.
100% right.
I hope we're wrong, though. I'm sick of them. I want Gonzo out of there. He just had a new baby. He needs to stay at home and just be a daddy.
So I say it all the time. To be the man, you got to beat the man. Woo!
Yep.
We got to do all
that.
You're
the greatest, you got to beat the greatest.
Exactly. And
I know we've been resting up for the last few weeks, and we're ready to go. And I just had a new baby, me and my wife, and so we're ready to go. Me and Travis, we're ready to go. We're ready back. Chiefs, or die.
If you've had a kid, you really love the time away from home, especially whenever they're newborns. You let that be someone else's problem. Patrick Mahomes is going to be on the road as much as physically possible just to get away from that kid. But I think everyone's been saying like it's a foregone conclusion that this is going to be Detroit's or someone else's Super Bowl to win. Have we ever doubted a team as much as we've doubted Kansas City that just has 15 wins, that should have had 16 wins, right? Like, why are we doubting this team the way that we keep doubting this team? And I agree with Mac. There's no chance in hell. A snowball's chance in hell is what we say down here in Texas all the time, right? Of the Houston Texans beating the Kansas City Chiefs. It's just not going to happen. And I'm a firm believer, and I'll say it right here, right now, and I will take my lumps as it comes. And you can call me a front runner all you want. There's no way Kansas City's not winning the Super Bowl.
I said that at the beginning of the year.
The Super Bowl?
Last year, I said the same exact things you were saying last year because the same things were being said last year.
Where was this
by enough? They weren't doing enough. You know why? Because we hate winners. We hate winners. I dealt with it for a long time, so I understand this.
Oh, he had heard
all the time.
the Patriots.
There is a very real dynasty fatigue. So you guys had, Brady, you guys won a bunch, and then you move straight in to KC, right? So there's a fatigue to that where people are just like, the first one they won, they're like, yeah, cool. And then after that, they're like, yeah, we're kind of over it.
Dynasties
Get
are
over
good
yourself.
for the NFL, by the way. Parity is not good for the NFL. Dynasties are good for the NFL. The league gets it totally backwards. They don't get it. Dynasties are good.
Because they're good because everybody loves to hate them. People will pay to watch them lose.
100%.
But they're not going to lose, of course. I mean, now, mind you, it's going to be tough this year to get out of the AFC. It's going to be tough because, I like either whoever comes out of this divisional game. You haven't brought it up yet, Mac, but between Buffalo and the Ravens, that's probably the game of the playoffs to me.
That's the
That's
championship.
your Super Bowl contender right there, the Buffalo Bills or the Ravens. Forget
that's your
these
championship.
fireheads.
Who did Chiefs get by last year? Didn't they have to go to Baltimore and beat the Ravens? Pretty sure. Didn't they have to beat Buffalo last year? Pretty sure.
So,
Yeah, but they had to beat a Ravens team without Derrick Henry. A guy that's got 1,971 yards.
They didn't have King Henry, honey.
So they had to beat,
And they still got a quarterback who hasn't won a big game.
Fresh
they had
set
to
of
beat a
legs
Ravens
down there
team.
with Henry.
It's a new year, Keith. It's a new year.
Henry
Look,
is an extra.
I
pair
like
of
what
legs
Tip
for
said.
Jackson.
To beat a man, you got to beat the man. But I think this might be the year to beat the man.
Tip and I will be here to take our lumps when they lose. That won't be.
No.
be-
Lamar got him an extra pair of legs, and
You
it's
guys
called King
remember-
Henry.
You guys just remember
You guys
Max?
realized last year
Max
the Ravens,
Russell.
right? How the Ravens lost last year. They were the number one rushing team. They go into that game and have 6 designed runs to running backs the entire game. That is nothing the other team did. They beat themselves before they got started.
True.
Right.
The City made every big third down conversion they had to make in that game. That's how they won that game.
Yeah,
I
they
am here for the
played.
chaos. Once
Crazy.
again, I'm here for the chaos of watching Baltimore make it to the AFC Championship game and losing by Isaiah Likely's toe being out of bounds.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah. KC doesn't win 3.
Buffalo and Baltimore. Buffalo. I don't know about that, Bo. But Buffalo and Baltimore should be a real good game. Again, I agree. Listen, if Buffalo can't stop Derrick Henry, it's going to be a long day. It definitely is. I agree with that. That's the one key factor this year that Baltimore didn't have last year. So Buffalo's going to stack the line, try and stop Derrick Henry. If they can hit him while he's running sideways, they got a chance. If they can't, I don't think Buffalo wins this. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
And no one really talks
let's
about
get into
this.
Some
Is that
of the NFL news is really interesting to me.
Well, I just want to say just one thing. No one talks about how Lamar Jackson got help from Derrick Henry, but also Lamar Jackson has helped Derrick Henry as well because he averaged about 60-plus yards a game when he was in Tennessee, but now he averaged like 113 as well, and that's because Lamar Jackson is – don't forget, Derrick Henry is 30 years old, believe it or not. This guy rushed for almost 2,000 yards. We talk about Saquon Barkley and what he did, but Derrick Henry was phenomenal this year as well. And a lot of that can be attributed to the success or the play of Lamar Jackson. They helped each other. I think it was just great. It was like salt and pepper for them, and it was just great.
And a significantly better offensive line they had in Tennessee.
Well, real quick on that. Derrick Henry was hurt last year, if I remember correctly. And the year before that, he was running for like 1,500 yards. So, that last year, I would not hold against Derrick Henry because they had another running back in there for him. So let's get to some of the NFL news. McCarthy and the Cowboys part ways. Tip, what I heard, this is what I heard. When Jerry Jones was negotiating with McCarthy, he wanted him to bring in Witten, the former tight end, as an assistant and to be there and kind of teach him how to be a head coach. And McCarthy didn't want no part of it. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I heard, Tip.
I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't see why Mike McCarthy wouldn't do it, though, right? Like, what's the harm in having Jason Witten on as an assistant or having anyone on as an assistant? I genuinely feel like everyone kind of knew the time was up, right? Like, there was no way Dallas was going to bring back Mike McCarthy. And if you truly believe that he was going to bring back Mike McCarthy, you are living in 1996, the last time the Dallas Cowboys won themselves a Super Bowl and were great, right? It was just time. It needed to happen. It was
an honest fan. I love an honest fan. You're the first honest fan I've ever heard. Great job, Tip.
You know, if he would have learned to clap, he would have got another contract.
Yeah, clap and chew gum. That's all you got to do. Clap and chew gum.
I just want to say, I told y'all. I've been sitting here calmly about it. I told y'all, and Mac and James, y'all know I text you immediately. As soon as the screenshot came, as soon as it came up, I was like, because we talked about it on the Sunday morning football show, Mac. We talked about it, everybody. And everybody was like, do you think McCarthy stays? And I was like, after dirty, nasty, depends wearing Jerry Jones did what he did to Cooper and cost that man $500,000 for his money and put Trey Lance in there for no reason. Jerry has so much money, he has the U.S. Mint in his backyard. And you're that selfish over $500,000 for this young man that has stood in the gap for Dakota Rain Prescott. And so when he went out there and was like, yeah, Mike McCarthy's our guy, and I own the Dallas Cowboys, and whatever I say goes. I was like, listen, don't bank on that. He blocked McCarthy from talking to the Bears when you got offensive coordinators out there who are talking to teams, and their teams are in the playoffs, and they're still interviewing. Why would he block Polar Bear McCarthy? He blocked him because he was trying to block his blessing. That's what he did. And now he cut the apron strings on him. And McCarthy's out there at the Department of Unemployment looking for a job.
Welcome to Walmart.
Welcome to Walmart.
I mean, if he doesn't get the Bears job, he's going to get the Saints job. Like, I don't think Mike McCarthy is going to be unemployed for a long time. He's a good coach, right? Like he's a good coach. But I just feel like going back to what Sonia said, like, the way rich people stay rich is that you don't spend your money. So why are you going to spend it on Cooper Rush? There's no need to spend it on Cooper Rush. Just keep your money to yourself. Jerry, I agree with what you did.
Yeah, you can give Dak $60 million to not play.
Right. With the meat falling off his ham bone and his ass.
Well, I have heard that the ham bone is connected to the ass bone.
I'm sorry, Troy Aikman comes out, tells Jerry Jones. So Troy Aikman on Monday night tells Jerry Jones to basically get out of the way, that the head coach job is not a coveted job anymore, that it's not a big job as it used to be, and that if he keeps interfering, it's going to be like the same thing every year, wash and rinse. And this is Troy Aikman, who loves the Cowboys, has a great relationship with Jerry Jones. I don't know if Jerry Jones is going to listen to him or not, but this is an honest guy. I mean, a guy that, like I said, big fan of his teams, been there, was played for years. So, I mean, Keith, I mean, if Tom Brady came out and said about the same thing about Bob Kraft, that would be something, wouldn't it?
That'd be big news for sure. Those guys are bosom buddies. That'd be for sure. I don't know if Aikman and Jones have had that type of relationship over the years like Brady and Kraft have, but it would be huge news. And even if they don't have type of relationship, he's either the first or second best quarterback in that franchise history, and I guess he's second. Sorry, Tim. But his that means something coming from him. When he tells the owner, "Get out of the way, you're the problem," which everybody else knows anyway. But when that guy is stepping outside of the team I'm trying to think of a word I can't come up with here, but he's not just doing team speak, right? He's not just giving the company line. Get out of the way, Jerry. You don't hear a lot of other people saying it. Troy Aikman should carry some weight there, and but Jerry's not getting out of the way. He said the other day he's going to coach. He's going to be own this team till he's dead, and he's going to run this team until he's dead.
He said he bought it at 46. He said, I bought this team at 46 because I intend to run it, because I'm not handing it over to nobody. This is my team, and I'll run it until I die.
I mean, the owner of the team
is over one time, Tip, right? Handed the keys over one time, didn't get enough credit, and he has screwed it up for 30 years since then.
But again, like whenever you own an asset, all it is about increasing the value of it. So as far as an owner goes, he's an extremely successful owner, right? Yeah. But whenever you talk about what Jerry has to do for this team, does he seem like the type of person that's going to be able to look in the mirror and say, I'm the problem? Of course he's not. That's just not Jerry Jones.
No.
Until Jerry Jones has that aha moment, he's 82 years old. That's not going to happen. The Dallas Cowboys are going to be stuck in this limbo type place because he wants someone who's going to listen to him as Jerry Jones, the owner, Jerry Jones, the president, Jerry Jones, the GM. He is the checks and balances of the Dallas Cowboys, and it's all just one-sided on him now, right? So if Jerry Jones has all that power, why do I have to listen to Troy Aikman? He's still going to come here because ESPN is going to have all my games, and that's what matters.
Sure.
Y'all got about 18 more years to deal with Jerry. When he hits 100 and gets up out of here, y'all got 18 more years to lose. And then by that time, we're all older and we get a chance to see it. But Jerry has to be 100 and up out of here before y'all do anything in Dallas. And them talking about interviewing Deion Sanders.
Oh, please let that chaos happen.
I need it. It's in my veins. I need that chaos.
So I'm gonna play you an audio clip real quick.
Okay, Bo got the production skills backstage.
This is Hushmanzada's idea of this job.
Oh,
and I actually kind of agree with him.
I know what he about to play.
I heard Jordan Schultz just say it's a prestigious and coveted job. And the Cowboys is a dead-end job. Oh, straight up and down. I didn't see that coming. No. And I'm going to just take you through the history. Don't listen to me. Who was the head coach before Mike McCarthy? Garrett. Jason Garrett. Did he get another job after that? And who was the head coach before Jason Garrett? Wade Phillips. Did he get another job after that? And who was the head coach before Wade Phillips? Parcells. Did he get another job after that? The Cowboys job is a dead-end job. You got cooking? It's a dead-end job.
Coach killer.
Mike.
They wanted another job. Did they get one? No, they didn't. It's a dead end. What happens when you hit the dead end? What you do?
So before you lose your mind on that, I know Wade Phillips ended up playing, coaching in different leagues and stuff. So I mean,
he won a Super Bowl as a defensive coordinator in Denver.
As a coordinator.
He's talking about other head coaching jobs.
But Wade Phillips has always been looked at as he's going to be a great defensive coordinator, never as a great head coach. So he just went back to doing what Wade Phillips does.
Yeah, but he ended up as a head coach again in the UFL. So I mean, it's not like he didn't want another job.
Being a head coach in the UFL is like being a head coach in high school. Like, no one cares about that.
No. Right. But what I'm saying, what his point is these are guys that wanted another head coaching job that never got one.
Bill Parcells would have got another head coaching job if you wanted one.
He would have.
He didn't.
And Mike McCarthy's got it.
Yeah.
Jason Garrett is
Mike McCarthy wasn't the problem. Mike McCarthy, I was just about to. I looked at Sean Payton. To me, Mike McCarthy is no different than Sean Payton. He's got similar stats. They both have one Super Bowl, and they're both excellent offensive coordinators. I mean, their offensive schemes is much better than most coaches that are out there right now.
Yeah.
So, and when another thing is, he's got skins on the wall to prove it. He just didn't. Him and Jerry probably they might not have shown it on the outwardly, but Mike McCarthy is probably just another guy say, "Look, man, you can't treat me like you treating me, Jason Garrett or somebody like that." We don't agree. We can agree to disagree and part ways. So that's likely why that happened there.
So it was something that did come out during the season, actually.
Yeah.
Also, TJ Hushmanzada would know all
for our last part before we end up.
You would too.
You're not wrong.
Good call.
So before we cut out, because we're at the top of the hour, there's one more news item I want to get to. The Eagles do the right thing, end up banning one of their fans from Lincoln Field anyway, and supposedly from all the Eagles games forever. From what I read, he lost his job. He was employed at the DEI, from what I read just before I came on. Question I got for you. Would there be this big a deal if it was a male fan and not a female fan?
It was the way he was going at her. So if you are just being a giant douche, the internet does have a funny way of making you pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if they get enough people that see the clip and it's egregious enough, like if he would have said different things, still going at her, but approached it a little differently, no one would have thought twice about it. It's the specific things and the way he went about it. You absolutely will get some backlash from the internet. He's not the first one to have this happen.
He wouldn't have sent the word to a guy. That's the key, is he wouldn't use the word.
Yeah, the C word. But he might, because I'm going to be honest with y'all. I've gotten into altercations with guys before, and I've called them a B, because I think that's the most hurtful thing you could do to a guy is to call them a B. So when I really want to go low, I just call them a B.
Doesn't carry the same way. As a guy, it doesn't carry the same way.
No,
not at all.
Not even close. Nah.
To me, guess what? That word, somebody calling me that would not, I'm going to be honest, it won't offend me as a female. Are you guys talking about the CU word, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, I would use lots of words. I won't use that word.
I'm going to tell you, the B word to me is more offensive towards me than the C word. That's just me as a female.
Right.
Yeah.
For a guy to get called a B word, if he's offended by it, a lot of it, unfortunately, is some things that are inward. You know, I mean, that may apply to how he might truly be.
Other words to it. You add B, then A, and then another word on the back end that I definitely won't say on air.
You might be one.
Right. Exactly.
James is getting ready to see his next psychology patient.
Well, let me end the show on this because let me end it on this because Keith has got a show to do next, and of course Sonia too. But in Ireland, guess what? They call all each other that C word, and that's just part of their heritage. So anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you. We'll see you again next week on the Professional Sports Show. Of course, you got Keith Engel doing shows. You got Bo doing shows. You got Sonia and James doing shows, and Mike Tipton every morning.